In the quiet solitude of their cozy suburban home, a family of three, the Johnsons, enjoyed a seemingly ordinary evening. The night was draped in an ethereal calmness as they gathered in the living room, engrossed in the soft glow of the television. But the tranquility was shattered when their little girl, Emma, descended the stairs with an expression of sheer terror etched upon her face. Emma's small frame trembled as she approached her parents, her eyes wide with fear. The room fell into an eerie silence as she spoke with an unsettling certainty. "Can you hear it breathing?" "I hear it," she whispered, her voice carrying an otherworldly tone that sent chills down their spines. Confusion and concern flooded the hearts of Emma's parents. They exchanged apprehensive glances, their parental instincts urging them to dismiss the notion of a malevolent presence lurking in their home. Yet, something about Emma's demeanor, the raw fear in her voice, struck a chord deep within their souls. Trying to maintain a sense of normalcy, Emma's father, Mark, knelt down and gently held her trembling hands. "Emma, sweetheart, it's just your imagination. There's nothing to be afraid of," he reassured her, desperately clinging to the hope that this was nothing more than a child's vivid imagination at play. But Emma's eyes darted around the room, fixating on unseen shadows dancing in the corners. Her voice quivered as she persisted, "No, Daddy, I can hear it breathing. It's here, watching us." A shiver ran down Mark's spine, an unshakable unease settling within his bones. He glanced at his wife, Sarah, who mirrored his silent alarm. Together, they knew they had to confront the inexplicable force that gripped their daughter. As night descended upon the house, the once familiar rooms transformed into a sinister labyrinth. The air grew heavy with an oppressive presence, and each creak of the floorboards resonated like a chilling whisper. Emma's innocent expressions of fear became increasingly frequent, her sleep punctuated by blood-curdling screams that echoed through the hallways. Determined to protect their daughter, Mark and Sarah embarked on a journey to unravel the mystery that plagued their home. They delved into the house's history, unearthing stories of a tragic past, an unsolved murder, a restless spirit, and a malevolence that clung to the walls like a dark stain. With each passing night, the paranormal activity escalated. Furniture toppled, disembodied whispers filled the air, and cold gusts of wind seemed to materialize from nowhere. Emma's pleas grew louder, her fear intensifying with each passing day. Driven by a mix of desperation and determination, Mark sought the help of renowned paranormal investigators, a team well-versed in combating supernatural entities. Together, they delved deeper into the haunted history of the house, uncovering the dark secrets that tethered the restless spirit to their home. As the investigators unraveled the enigma, they discovered a chilling truth. The spirit that tormented Emma was none other than the vengeful ghost of a young girl, trapped in a cycle of sorrow and rage. It sought solace, but instead, it fed off the fear it invoked in the living, growing stronger with each passing moment. Mark and Sarah fought to protect their daughter, their love for Emma becoming a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. Armed with ancient rituals and a fierce determination, they confronted the vengeful spirit, desperately attempting to break the cycle of fear and release it from its torment. Within the walls of their home, the battle between the living and the dead raged. The air crackled with energy as the two forces collided in a cataclysmic clash. Shadows writhed, furniture levitated, and the very foundation of the house quivered under the weight of the supernatural battle. In the midst of chaos, Mark and Sarah never lost sight of their purpose. With unwavering love and sacrifice, they forged a connection with the vengeful spirit, unlocking the key to its salvation. They offered solace, understanding, and a release from the grip of anger and despair. As the dawn broke, a tranquil hush settled over the house, the echoes of the battle fading into a distant memory. Emma's parents, exhausted but triumphant, held her tightly, the lingering presence of the vengeful spirit now replaced with an overwhelming sense of peace. The house, once a battleground of fear, slowly regained its serenity. But the memory of the harrowing ordeal remained etched in the hearts of the Johnson family. They emerged forever changed, with a newfound appreciation for the delicate balance between the realms of the living and the dead. In the years that followed, as they watched Emma grow into a resilient young woman, the Johnsons knew that they had overcome a nightmarish ordeal. They had faced the darkness head-on, fought against the unknown, and emerged with their family bond stronger than ever. Yet, the haunting whispers of that chilling question, "Can you hear it breathing?" lingered in the recesses of their minds, reminder that the line between the living and the dead is sometimes blurred, and that evil can manifest in the most unexpected of places. I see you're already subscribed to the channel, and if not, it's your own fault. As the clock struck midnight, casting an eerie glow throughout the dimly lit room, Emily sat alone in her apartment, the silence broken only by the faint hum of the telephone. With a sense of unease, she reached out and lifted the receiver, her heart quickening with every ring. Little did she know that the voice on the other end would shatter her reality and plunge her into a terrifying race against time. "Emily," a trembling voice whispered from the depths of the telephone, "it's me, you. From the future." A chill ran down Emily's spine as she held her breath, unable to comprehend the words she had just heard. The voice continued, urgency seeping through its cracks like an ominous warning. "I don't have much time. You need to listen carefully. A killer is coming for you, Emily. They are closer than you think, and your life is in grave danger." Fear gripped Emily's heart, her hands trembling uncontrollably. Thoughts raced through her mind, questioning the validity of the call, wondering if it was a prank or a twisted game. But deep down, a gut instinct told her to take the voice seriously. "Who are you?" Emily managed to whisper, her voice quivering with a mix of apprehension and curiosity. "I cannot reveal that now. Just know that I am you, Emily, from a time yet to come. I have found a way to communicate with you, to warn you of the impending danger. You must trust me. Stay vigilant, lock your doors, and whatever you do, do not let anyone inside." Emily's mind whirled with a mix of confusion and dread. How could she trust a voice claiming to be her own? Yet, the sincerity in the words sent shivers down her spine, and she knew she couldn't dismiss it as a mere prank. As the seconds ticked away, the voice on the other end provided chilling details of Emily's daily routine, secrets only she knew, confirming its authenticity. The realization that this eerie call was indeed her future self fueled a desperation within Emily. With newfound determination, she barricaded the doors, closed the blinds, and armed herself with any makeshift weapon she could find. The minutes turned into hours, and the weight of anticipation bore down upon her. Every creak of the floorboards and every shadow dancing in the periphery of her vision heightened her anxiety. Time became an enemy, stretching on indefinitely as she waited for the unknown killer to make their move. Days blurred together in a haze of paranoia and fear. Sleep eluded Emily as her senses remained heightened, her mind on constant alert. She questioned her sanity, doubting the validity of the voice that had disrupted her life. Was this an elaborate ruse? Or was there truly a sinister figure lurking in the shadows, ready to strike? Then, one fateful night, as the moon veiled itself behind a thick shroud of clouds, a chilling realization dawned on Emily. The voice had fallen silent, leaving her with unanswered questions. Was the danger truly averted? Or was this just the calm before the storm? As if on cue, a sharp knock reverberated through the apartment, jolting Emily from her thoughts. Her heart skipped a beat as dread washed over her. The killer had arrived, breaching the fortress she had erected to protect herself. Panic seized her, but a flicker of resilience burned within her eyes. With bated breath, Emily braced herself and flung open the door, ready to confront her would-be assailant. But what she saw left her paralyzed with shock. Standing before her was a face she knew all too well, her own. It was her future self, aged and weary, carrying the weight of the warning she had relayed. The older Emily, tears streaming down her face, whispered, "I'm sorry, Emily. I had to do this to save you." The killer. It was me. I became consumed by darkness, by a force I couldn't resist. This is the only way to break the cycle, to prevent the horror that awaits. Now, you must make the choice. Will you follow my path, or will you find another way? Confusion and anguish flooded Emily's being. The realization that she held her own destiny in her hands was a heavy burden to bear. The room became a battleground of emotions as she grappled with the revelation. In the end, Emily made her decision, vowing to break the cycle of darkness that threatened to consume her. The battle against her own inner demons had just begun, but she was determined to emerge victorious. And so, the woman who once answered a phone call that shattered her reality embarked on a journey of self-discovery and redemption. With the echoes of her future self's warning etched in her mind, Emily vowed to rewrite her fate, to choose a path that would lead her away from the darkness and towards the light. Little did she know that the battle she faced would be far more treacherous and complex than she could have ever imagined. I'm following you, you haven't liked it yet. Amelia ventured into the dense forest, her heart brimming with excitement as she embarked on her solitary hike. The air was crisp, carrying a faint scent of pine, and the leaves rustled beneath her feet with each step. Unbeknownst to her, the tranquility of the forest would soon give way to a nightmare she could never have anticipated. As the sun began its descent, casting elongated shadows through the towering trees, Amelia's focus waned. Lost in her thoughts, she failed to notice the hidden perils that lay in wait. With an ill-fated step, her foot found its way into a concealed bear trap, its iron jaws clamping down with merciless force. A searing pain shot through her leg as Amelia let out a blood-curdling scream that pierced the silent forest. Panic flooded her senses as she struggled to free herself from the unforgiving grip of the trap. But her efforts only intensified the agony, causing her vision to blur with tears. The sun sank lower, casting an eerie glow over the forest, and darkness encroached upon Amelia's surroundings. Fear washed over her like a suffocating wave, as the realization of her dire situation sank in. Helpless and trapped, she felt the chill of the approaching night intensify her despair. As twilight settled upon the forest, the wilderness awakened. Sounds that had once seemed harmless now became ominous. The hooting of an owl echoed through the trees, and the howling wind carried with it whispers of hidden dangers. Amelia's mind raced with primal fear as the forest seemed to come alive around her. Exhausted and overwhelmed, she pleaded for salvation, her cries for help fading into the depths of the wilderness. But as minutes turned into hours, the hopelessness of her situation grew. Her strength waned, her voice grew hoarse, and the pain in her leg became unbearable. Just as Amelia teetered on the brink of surrender, a distant rustling sound caught her attention. Her heart leapt with a glimmer of hope, the possibility of rescue revitalizing her spirit. But as the figure emerged from the shadows, her relief transformed into pure terror. It was not a rescuer who approached, but a man cloaked in darkness. His sinister silhouette sent a chill down Amelia's spine, her instincts screaming of imminent danger. The man's eyes gleamed with a cold malevolence as he circled her, a predator reveling in his captive's vulnerability. "Looks like you found yourself in quite the predicament, my dear," the man sneered, his voice dripping with sadistic delight. "You're at the mercy of the forest now, and I assure you, it is far from merciful." Amelia's heart pounded in her chest as she realized she was not the only predator in this twisted game. Her pleas for help turned into desperate pleas for mercy, but the man's sadistic grin only widened. He reveled in her suffering, finding twisted pleasure in the terror that engulfed her. As the night wore on, the forest became a battleground of survival. The man toyed with Amelia, testing the limits of her resilience. He reveled in her pain, her fear, prolonging her torment for his own sick amusement. But Amelia refused to be broken. Despite her excruciating pain and the encroaching darkness, a fire ignited within her. With sheer determination, she summoned every ounce of strength she had left. Using the trap as leverage, she managed to free herself, the searing pain in her leg momentarily forgotten in her desperate bid for escape. Through the thicket she ran, her heartbeat thundering in her ears, fueled by an adrenaline-fueled surge of survival. Branches clawed at her skin, the forest seemed to conspire against her, but she pressed on, driven by an unyielding will to live. As dawn approached, a glimmer of hope illuminated the horizon. Amelia emerged from the forest, battered and broken, but alive. The distant sound of sirens grew louder, the cavalry arriving too late to save her from the horrors she had endured. Amelia's body healed over time, but the scars, both physical and psychological, remained etched upon her soul. The forest, once a sanctuary of serenity, had become a haunting reminder of her darkest hour. And though she survived the physical ordeal, the memory of the sadistic man's chilling presence would forever haunt her nightmares. From that day forward, Amelia's life was forever changed. She became an advocate for victims of violent crimes, channeling her trauma into a relentless pursuit of justice. The forest, once a place of solace, now stood as a testament to her resilience and a constant reminder of the evil that lurked in the shadows. And as the sun set each day, casting its golden hues upon the world, Amelia's heart would still skip a beat. The memories of that fateful night lingered, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the horrors that could befall even the most unsuspecting souls in the depths of the wild.